Hello and welcome to Shelf Centered. I wanted to do something a little different today. I am going to look back at an old list. I've been keeping track of books that I am in the middle of, and I did a video similar to this to a degree where I looked back on all the books or the series that I have been in the middle of for some time now. And I'm kind of looking at trying to complete or move forward in. Now this list, it's on my old blog. It just there's like over 40 series that I'm in the middle of. One of the things that led me to create this list was because I started just reading, the first books in a series, and then I'd have 10 different series going, and I wanted to make sure that I kept track of all of them and that I don't forget that I gotta go read that one, because sadly that happens. I'm an old geezer now, apparently. So basically what I wanted to do today was David S. Book Meanderings, or what is it? Fanfi Addict. Fanfiaddict.com did this great post about finishing series, and I wanted to kind of add my 2 cents into that. So here is my 2 cents, and I'm going to be jumping onto my laptop to film from there from here on out. But just on finishing these series that are in my list here that I've kept for some time. There's 10 though here that I think I can finish. Maybe not by the end of the year, but at least by the beginning of next year. So that's my goal here. Want to get series finished here and be done with it. Then I'll do a follow-up video about how I'm doing on my TBR so far this year, which kind of has something to do with this one. So anyway, catch you on the other side here. Woo. All right, here is my list. This is on my old blog, the stamp of approval. Long story short, I used to go by Seeks, and then I thought I would do some alliteration with some stamp of approval, and this is a review site. So anyway, that's such a long story, I know. Here's my list. This has just been keeping on this, so I keep up to date still on the in progress and then the series that I finished. Anyway, right, so I got it from Miniki. Actually, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right after all these years, but so as you can see here, I'll go up here. In my extremely complicated way of making out this list of in progress books, you can see here I'll list the series, and with the author, and to the right of that I will say read, and then if there is nothing, that means that they are unread. It's a complicated system. I don't expect everyone to get it. With this many books or series on here, I had to have a way of being able to keep track of everything that I'm on, that were ongoing, especially a lot of these when I did start them, like this one, a Xenowealth series. They were still in progress, right? So it would just be, you couldn't even finish them if you wanted to. So, man, I'm going way too fast, sorry. But as you can see here, we read a lot in some of these and not much in others. So this is what I'm showing right now, is the actual list of, what David S. put up as what people could copy to pop in and put their list. So this is essentially what I'm going to be doing. I've already done it. Otherwise it would take forever if I did it all together on here. So you're just going to see the final product in the end. And before we get there, we'll discuss just what actually is going on there. So here's my list here. The Hitchhiker's Guide, that's on there. I need to read 2 more, but I finished Life, the Universe, and Everything last year. And really enjoyed it, and although not as much as the first 2. The first 2 are just classics. Culture just seems like this is more of a, I didn't make this a list that I have to finish immediately, but it's semi-immediate. I'd like to get some of these off my in progress list and onto the series finished list. So that's what I'm going for here. Hitchhikers is doable in the next year to a couple months, over a year. That's what I'm thinking, or actually just possibly just a year from now. Just 2 more there. Day by Day Armageddon, that's probably not going to happen. Shannara, we just had 1 more. I don't know why I stopped. It's just Elfstones was pretty good. Got distracted. It's pretty standard fare for fantasy, and back in the day when it came out, and so just nothing has like really made me need to go jump and grab it again, pick it up again. Xeno Wealth, I do need to finish that someday, but probably too much to try to fit into my already big TBR. I was debating, does Dresden Files count? I really technically only need to read Briefcases, and I'm fully caught up, but since it's an ongoing series, I know David S. was kind of like, I want a complete series here, and ones that I'm going on. Couple more, just a little too much. I debated this Mike Cole series. I didn't put that one on it. Black Company, we got a long way to go. There's just too many, again, on Expanse. I would like to get that one. But again, here we go. Acacia, we can do this. 1 more book. That's all I need to add to it. So that's on my list, definitely. The Band, again, it's not finished. We'll see where that goes. The Malzahn Empire by E.N.T. Esselmont, definitely on there. A Sale is all I have left. That's all I just got to finish that one there. Again, Janai series, I've read 1, and then here's the rest of them. Black Sun's Daughter, that's one it's Emmeline Hanover is actually David Abraham, who's half of S.L. Corey. It's his Your Urban Fantasy series. And as we all know, James S.A. Corey is behind The Expanse. So that all makes sense. It's just that Daniel Abraham loves pen names. That's really what we gather from this. All right. But I could probably do that, fit that in. I just feel like it's an unfinished series. Dune, there's just no way. I know it's on my list, but that's a lot to when I have others that I can surely complete in the time period given. All right, with Live Ship Traders by Robin Hobb, I did finish these first 2. Definitely an easy one. I want to finish all of them. They are already on my TBR. This was a no-brainer to add to my list of series that I'm going to complete in the next year. Want to make sure I can, and that's what I've been trying to do with my TBR, is directed toward trying to get these done and off of this list as much as I can. There are still plenty that are unfinished series that I'm just kind of keeping track of. But anyway, this, is necessary to a degree. I know Goodreads was actually about the same time I did this list and using Goodreads to kind of keep track of things, but I really like this list is just my go-to. Howl's Moving Castle would be an easy one to add to this. I do have Castle in the Air. I don't have House of Many Ways, so that was really the only reason why it didn't. I debated putting this one on my list, but I did not. Dark Trials is still ongoing. Love the series ongoing though. Red Queen's War was a big contender. I've debated. Anyone else want to switch? Maybe I should say if I get enough votes, I'll switch. I'll switch to a different one. Maybe a Mark Lawrence series. I really love his writing, and I did almost jump that one up the list here. Earthsea Cycle, you can see I'm terribly behind on that. That wasn't even a second thought. Greenbone Saga, I read Jade City. I can't wait to read the rest. So that was an easy no-brainer to add to my list of 10 series. I'm going to complete this in the upcoming year. Jade War up next. I can't wait. I hear so many good things. Gentleman Bastards was the one that just it's on there. It's on the list. But there's a lot that are still just have not come out yet. So that is definitely down the list. Oh, and guess what? A Song of Ice and Fire. I've mostly lost hope, hence the anyway, that was, I don't know, I wrote that ages ago, and I thought it was hilarious. This is another one, Elric of Melnibone, as some call it. I just learned that one. Again, too many, I think. The Vagrant was one that almost got on the list. It's a completed trilogy, so that's an easy one. And I really like The Vagrant. I've been dying to get back, but I might need a reread because it has been a while. I remember the goat and the baby, and that's about it. The Unremembered is a good one. Peter Aurelian actually is writing a book with Brandon Sanderson, but again, that one's been forthcoming forever, and it seems like that's kind of Peter's deal here. I don't know. For book 3, I think should be forthcoming. I don't even know. Discworld, I'd love to put on the list. It's definitely on my TBR to at least get a couple books a year read, but it may take me 40 years to finish that. All right, Revelation Space is on the list. This is one that's been on my TBR for way too long. I read Revelation Space ages ago. I just read Chasm City last year, and it is time to jump back in. I love this series. It's so good. There's so many like noir detective and but in space and just crazy amazing technologies. Alistair Reynolds just his scientific mind is beautiful, and he makes for great amazing storytelling. The Kingkiller Chronicles, another not quite finished, hence why I had to make a list like this. There's how many authors are going to be on that list of taking forever. I've been debating if they read it, it will get done. So, read along, maybe a reread. If they read it, it will get done. Does that make sense? Field of Dreams. Anyway, anyone on board with a read along? Let's do it. This will be the one to end them all, right? Anyway, Arcane Ascension. I'm not sure where that is in the. I think there's a forthcoming. That was more. I just am guessing. I don't actually know. It could just be a trilogy. I haven't actually read the third one, but I'm excited to. Sun Eater, there's even a 5th, I think, on the way, which is just I think it just split up the Kingdom of Death and they had with the paper issue. Due to our lovely friend, the virus that shall not be named. So then I realized I really needed to get back and finish Reckoners, the Firefight, and Calamity. I haven't read. So I did add this one to the list. I figured I needed to give myself something a little shorter and a little easier to digest on this list that I can make sure and make it happen. There's a Stormlight, not quite there. And I think this was just on there at one point, and it might have been a working title for Rhythm of War, but I just left it there. Who knows? I don't know. Brandon Sanderson probably already knows. Rhythmatist, as we know from the Sanderson updates, the state of the Sanderson, who knows where that's at. Hyperion, I was this close to adding it because I just have these 2 left. I don't know. The Fall of Hyperion was so different than from the Hyperion that I loved. It's been hard to get back into that. I don't know what my deal is. Overworld, I'm not convinced is done, so that's where I'm like, I couldn't really add it to the list of complete movies. I want to catch up so badly though. It's one of those I put off because I love it. Nobody knows my thinking here. The Rhaeria Chronicles, that was just a hard one to put on there. I'm way behind on that. Milkweed Triptych by Ian Tregillis. He's one of George R. R. Martin's cronies, right, in New Mexico. I figured, hey, I just have one more book. I can finish this series, so I did add that one. The Dying Earth, I really debated. This was a close one. It was up there. Kujal Saga, Rialto the Marvelous. I actually read Songs of the Dying Earth first, which is the anthology that George R. R. Martin and Gardner Dozois, I'm probably mispronouncing it, I'm sorry, but it's just the most brilliant anthology ever written, in my opinion, and so I had to keep reading some Dying Earth, and it's just as brilliant as I know, the anthology that's trying to mimic it. It makes sense in my head. John Cleaver, woefully behind. Partials, I debated. That one seemed doable. Cradle, I think there's more coming. Tales of the Ketty J, I'm so far behind on that one, and I really do want to give that one some love here. The Wars of Light and Shadow is actually finished. At least the writing of the Song of Mysteries. It needs editing. I think it's in editing right now, so it will be done. But I just was like, I don't want to. That's a lot to ask in a year's time. Actually, it needs a lot of focus, and I want to give it the focus it deserves. So I'm going to keep going kind of slowly but surely through that. One I did add was the Thrawn trilogy. Just one more left, The Last Command. It was easy enough to add to it, so definitely going to add that one in. And then again, I'm woefully behind on Chronicles of Amber. I read the first 5, and I even have the huge omnibus of all of them. But I just needed a break at the time, and I felt like 5 books in, where it did the I think it was Corwin books. That felt good to me. All right, and here we have our mess of a list. Oh my gosh, an attempt was made. This is as good as I could get it. Oh, this took forever to put together, but here we are. So that's what we have, and I don't even know how. I was trying to make space for like the longer ones, and then it just all became a jumbled mess, as you can see, but here we go. So there's the Star Wars. The bigger one is the one I need to read. It mostly worked here, but I need to read these two in the Hitchhiker's Guide universe. Just one more in the Wish Song, or the Wish Song of Shannara. I prefer Shannara. I know I'm all about just pronouncing it the way that the author doesn't. So that's how it goes. 2 more in the Reckoners. Just one more in the Malzahn Empire. 1 more in the Acacia trilogy. 2 more here in Fonda Lee's excellent Greenbone saga, at least so far. 1 more in the Life Ship Traders. 2 more in Revelation Space, even though I have read 2 in that universe. And then 1 more here in this series. This is like if World War II had superheroes and supervillains. It's nuts and really good. So anyway, not a lot of people talking about that one. But this is my list. Let's see, what could we do? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. 14 books seems doable, right? I can do that. But it's going to feel so good to get some completed series off my chest here. Thanks again to David for this kind of impetus to get this going. It's really fun. I've enjoyed just looking at my list, staring at my books, and coming up with great lists again. So here we are, actual visuals of the whole process that we just went through. I hope that was, I don't know, it was fun for me, but I hope it was relatively enjoyable to see inside my mind. I don't know, but appreciate your time. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking this video, and this has been Shelf Centered. Hopefully you've gotten centered a little bit today. All right, we'll see you. Bye.